because sometimes that I'm not particularly interested in, but I still need to know about it. So it helps when it's something that you don't really care about, but you still need to absorb. Format that's more fun to listen to and engage with. Hey loves, it's your girl JoJo and welcome back to yet another video. I'm like super excited about this video. I never thought I would be the type of girl that was obsessed with podcasts, like become a podcast enthusiast, but I am, and I just had a few that I wanted to share with you guys. You're embarking on that journey, an OG or a beginner, these are just a few podcasts to share with you guys. Before I jump into this video, you guys already know what to do. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because if you want to vibe with me, then subscribe with me. Come on now. If you have podcast recommendations, definitely drop them down below. I want to know what you guys listen to. I'm always open to adding new ones to my library. Okay, hey loves. Just like wrote on a piece of paper the list of podcasts, and I'm going to give you guys a brief description of what it entails, and like I said, definitely check them out. The first one that I have here is Manifest Daily Podcast. I just found this about a month ago, and in this podcast it's just all about working on unlocking the higher version of yourself. And it was like I found that podcast at the perfect time, because that's something I was looking for. I was looking for black podcasts in a certain area. Like I looked up black podcasts based in New Jersey or out of New Jersey, and this woman showed up, and I was like, oh, I love everything about this podcast. So yeah, I would definitely say give it a listen. At like a lot, quite often, up to date with the current episodes sort of situation. And also, I'm not dropping the host name for any of these podcasts, just because I don't want to butcher anybody's name. The next one I have here is entitled Gals on the Go. Gals on the Go podcast features two young girls in their 20s, and this is perfect. The title of this video is Best Podcast for Your 20s, and they're in their 20s. But anywho, this podcast is all about lifestyle. So they talk about dating advice, they talk about wardrobe, they talk about traveling, they talk about resetting, when your social battery has ran out, stuff like that. So it's just a really good podcast if you need something playing in the background while you're like cleaning your room, doing homework. If you're in the mix of doing something that's very productive, then I definitely recommend having it play in the background. Whether if you're going on a walk, I think it would definitely be really good on a walk too. I've definitely listened to it while walking to work. So yeah, I definitely think it's a good podcast. And although I just started this YouTube channel like 52 seconds ago or what have you, I would love to shout out the sponsor of this video today, which is the Momager Podcast, also my mom. Huge shout out to my mommy, because she has launched a podcast that is dedicated to navigating a childhood star. My sister is in the music industry, and she talks about navigating that, putting setting aside time for self-care as a mom, when to put the manager cap on and when to take it off, all that great jazz, navigating the music industry, the law side. All that information is featured on her podcast, which is completely awesome, because there's definitely I haven't seen any podcast like this ever. So just put her intro out. You can also become a supporter of the podcast. So like I said, launching soon. If you'd like to be a supporter, you can just click the link through Apple or Spotify. That is where the podcast is available. And as I said, you guys, it's launching soon. Definitely check it out. If you have siblings, if you have friends who possibly benefit from this podcast, or their parents as well, definitely I think it's catered more to adults that are navigating this realm. They should definitely take the time to check it out. So recommend. Girls just want to have funds. And this is all about money. It features the host is a white gal and a black gal, and they come together and they just navigate everything finances, from saving, from purchasing a car, credit, all that great jazz. And I think that's extremely important, because I'll speak for myself, not for everybody else, but I know I went to a public school and they really didn't teach as much about finances. And even when I went to college, I took like 2 finance courses and I still didn't think that it was in depth enough. And honestly, that's too late to be thinking about finances. That's something that needs to be implemented when you first get through the door. But like I said, that might vary from school to school, because public schools in different areas, maybe they focus on finances, or maybe private schools pay attention to more stuff like that. But I will say, when I was in school, it just wasn't up to par at all. So this podcast has definitely helped me with knowing some things I didn't know before as far as finances are concerned. Okay, the next one I have here is Vice. I just recently fell more in love with. Like, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really paying attention to them like that. I wasn't really paying attention to them like that. But I started paying more attention because, like, I think you need to make a balance between nonsensical information, that's something my dad tells me all the time, and educational information, information that actually matters. So I've been paying attention more to Vice and, like, educating myself more, thinking about different books to read and stuff like that. So with Vice, I'm not going to curse on here, I'm just going to say BS. They filter out the BS for you as far as news outlets are concerned. Everybody knows Fox 5, CNN, Good Morning America, like the top news outlets that play on the hour, top of the hour, bottom of the hour sort of situation. But I was just talking with my boyfriend recently. You don't learn anything from news outlets. Like he said it best. You don't learn anything from news outlets because it's so much information being jam-packed into 1 hour. And then they come back and do the same thing and they just repeat the same stuff throughout the day, but you're only getting a piece of the information. They're not going in depth at all. Where with Vice, they talk about they talk about current events that are going on all around the world. So you're learning about what's happening in the United States and past. I'm in the United States, so that's why I said that first. But this is the stuff you need to be paying attention to, and it has all sensible information. Actually, just going to get a subscription at this point. But Vice is definitely another one for those that care about what's going on in the world. It's warm in here. Okay, that actually didn't work. It did nothing. Okay, the next one that we have here is Journey to Launch podcast, and this is all about gaining financial freedom. And girl, personally for me, this resonates for me for where I am at in my life. And I found this podcast over a year ago, definitely well over a year ago. But every episode features different entrepreneurs or sometimes just normal everyday people that went through a struggle, went through a rough patch with money and have come out on the other side. So she has a program that you can sign up for where she helps you figure out this plan but for finances, so a whole budgeting scheme that will help you get to where you need to be. So now we have here is TED Talk. TED Talks should always be in your library if you're a beginner in podcasts. That's the first thing that I downloaded before anything else. So highly recommend. Definitely do TED Talks. That's all about motivation. For me, TED Talk is just motivation, and I'd say that's how you describe that podcast, just strictly motivational videos to help you get out of a funk. Now we have Currently Bossing, which is also another Black woman host, period. Podcast is good for entrepreneurs. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you definitely want to check out that pod. She has people featured, and then she has solo episodes as well. And like I said, it's all geared focused to women that are about running their business, juggling it all. Last one that I have here, and then we are done with my little list. This is Louder Than a Riot. And Louder Than a Riot is just controversial, and it is exposing the hypocrisy in America and worldwide. They talk about multiple things on the inhumane living conditions in prisons. They talk about prison labor, extortion, sex trafficking. They even featured, sometimes they have music involved in it, so they've talked about Bobby Smurder on there and his prison story. They talk about law on there. They talk about assassinations, all that great jazz. So it is a group of Black people that host that podcast, and I definitely think it's extremely educational. It's another one you should throw on the list if you're in the business of forwarding education for yourself. Definitely give it a listen. It's pretty awesome. I think it's very suspenseful too. The music that they have playing is very eerie, so it makes you pay attention. This is something serious. listen up sort of situation. So that's why I like it, because it gains my attention, because sometimes there's an episode that I'm not particularly interested in, but I still need to know about it. It's still something I should be listening to. So like I said, it helps when it's something that you don't really care about, but you still need to absorb, and it's being put in a format that's more fun to listen to and engage with. So yeah, that is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with a friend who want to vibe with me. Then subscribe to me, because period, per, and poo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, definitely drop your podcast recommendations down below.